to 4. There we go. So now we have the two commands that we need to do what we want with our custom script. We've got change the radius here, and we've got change segmentation here. So I'm just going to grab these two commands, and I'm going to right drag them onto my little toolbar here, and you can see that Max has brought up a little plus sign, which means it can create a button at that point. Drop that, and it's just used the default script button, and we'll just close this down now. And what I'm going to do is to show you the button actually in action. I'm going to put these back to a sort of the original setting. We'll do that, and we'll put that back up to 10. There we go. And I'm just going to select these all and make them unique. I'm going to do this by using this button here, which is Make Unique. There we go, make this one unique. So basically while I'm doing this, they're not actually instances anymore. They become unique. And let's just check that. Okay, they're all unique now, and they're all back to the original tessellation and radius settings. So now if I select a teapot, press this button, what you've actually seen there is that particular change was unique to that particular teapot. When I changed the settings on that teapot, it was explicitly using that teapot's name in the script commands. So what we need to do is just quickly go here, and I'm going to edit this macro script, and you can see it's saying here teapot 6 radius. Now that's really not what we want. So whenever you have any selection in Max, it uses a $ to indicate that it's a selection and an object. And you can see that in this case it's, you know, object teapot 6. Now if you change it to just $, that means whatever you've got selected. So if we just do this, there we go. We'll evaluate that script. That should be fine, and we'll just save that. And now that will work with whatever we have selected. So there we go. We can just select any teapot, and it'll just take our current selection and apply that script to it. So there we go. I'm going to edit this button's appearance. You can change it to any button image that you want to choose here. You've got a wide variety. You can also draw your own icons for buttons, so that's very useful. You know, this is used a lot in high-end production to customize the tool set of a studio. Or you can also change the button to having a text name. So we'll call this teapot 1. Okay, that. And there we go. You've actually got the button there. We'll just edit the appearance and put it back to an image again. We'll just use this. Just use this icon here. So there you go. You can see we've got a little button, and that does what it does. So yeah, very useful. You can see Max Script is very cool. So in the Max Script menu anyway, we have a new script, which will basically create a window where you can type a script in. You can open a script, which is, you know, obviously if you've got a script on disk, you can open that up there and start working with it. Run a script will run whatever script that you currently have in the script editor. Max Script Listener brings up the listener, which is something that we were just dealing with just now. You know, various options in there in the Max Script Listener, which is something we'll come to, as I said, in another DVD. Macro recorder, whether it's on or not. When it's on, don't forget everything that you do is outputting to the listener, and that can actually slow down Max quite a bit when you're doing a lot of very repetitive operations. So it's generally a good idea not to have the macro recorder on at all times, so we'll just turn that off there. And then at the bottom we have another dialog. Again, this is used with Max Script, and this basically is a script generator that will actually create floaters. So you can see any of these standard Windows GUI elements. You can actually just create these, drag these onto here, and then that will output a script which will create the same dialog in Max. And then you can edit that script and add in whatever functionality it is that you want to have that dialog do. So a very useful little tool there for setting up very basic GUIs with Max Script. The final menu is the help menu. As I said earlier, very good help in 3D Studio Max, so I'd well recommend going through you know, whatever documentation comes with Max and going through the tutorials. Lots of very valuable information there, and you access all of that information from here. You can see you have the new features guide, which details all the new features in this current version of Max, whatever they may be. You have the main user reference. And as I said, that's for any basic workflow in Max. You know, what is a viewport, what is a teapot, tells you about all the options for everything, NURBS, gizmos, whatever you're really interested in. There's lots of information in there. It's very well illustrated, very well written. The search function works very well, so if you're stuck with anything in Max, I really would recommend using the user reference. It is actually useful. You have the same thing for MaxScript. What are the MaxScript commands for working with NURBS? What are the MaxScript commands for working with splines? Any of those things, just go to the MaxScript reference and you can pick up those commands from there. You have tutorials, which, as I said, they're very good. It's well recommended, again, that you go through those to get yourself up to speed in Max. You have the hotkey map here, which is something that you see when you load Max as well. It's pretty much the splash screen. And on here, this is an interactive thing, so as you move your mouse over it, it'll actually tell you the current keyboard shortcuts for 3D Studio. So that's actually quite useful. Have a quick look through that when you're getting used to Max, and you can see the different keyboard shortcuts that you can use there. Below that, you have additional help. Any third party or any additional help that you get with Max, you can see in here. So for instance, here's the Reactor manual for working with Reactor Dynamics, or the Mental Ray user manual, and so forth. So if you bought Brazil, the Brazil help file may actually be listed in here, and you can go to here and get the additional help from there. 3D Studio Max on the web. If there's any sort of any support issues you may have, you can go to the online support site. You can get updates from here and so forth. Other different resources can be gained from here, so quite useful stuff there if you're connected to the internet directly. Then you have the authorized 3D Studio Max dialog, and below that you have the About 3D Studio Max. Okay, so there we go. Those are the 3D Studio Max menus.